Listen to me carefully because most of you are living in a dream world constructed by people who do not care if you lose every penny you have worked for. We are seeing the political elite chest thumping about a stock market at record highs. They throw numbers like the Dow 50,000 at you as if that translates to cheaper groceries. It does not. If you are looking at the ticker and thinking that because your 401k is up, you are safe, you are dead wrong. The economy is not the stock market. The stock market is just a playground for the people who already have the money. Complexity is a status signal for people who want to feel smart but stay poor. Stop trying to overanalyze the geopolitical posturing and look at the reality of your own bank account. You are watching a theater where the main characters tell you that the short-term pain of their wars and their trade policies is for your long-term gain. But ask yourself, how long is long? If you are a farmer trying to plant crops or a gig worker trying to pay rent, the short term is the only thing that matters. The time horizon of a billionaire who can wait for distressed assets to become cheap is not your time horizon. Do not let them confuse you with metrics that do not apply to your life. Half of the workforce does not even have a 401k. For those people, the record stock market is just a reminder that the system is rigged against the people who actually produce the value. If you are self-employed or a contract worker, you are getting squeezed by inflation and higher input costs while the government tells you to be patient. This is not leadership. It is a kleptocracy. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start protecting your own capital. We have reached a point where the basics are becoming luxuries. Lubricated fluids for your car are in short supply. Grocery prices are surging at levels we have not seen in 5 years. And yet the talking heads on your screen are obsessed with the stock ticker. The truth is that the inflation is cumulative. It is eating your purchasing power from the inside out. If you are still trying to find a clever way to trade this news, you are gambling, you are not investing, you are feeding the machine that is bleeding you dry. The only way to win in a game that is rigged is to refuse to play by their rules. Stop chasing the hype and start focusing on the boring, tedious, and essential work of building a foundation that cannot be wiped out by a single bad policy or a foreign conflict. Look at countries like India, where the leadership is already asking people to stop buying gold because the currency is under so much pressure. That is a signal, that is a real-world consequence that you need to pay attention to. If you think you are protected because you live in a wealthy nation, you are wrong. You are just going to feel the pain differently. It will come through higher service costs, higher food prices, and the slow decay of your standard of living. Most of you are car reliant, so when gas hits $7 a gallon, that is not just an inconvenience, it is a direct tax on your ability to work. The math does not math. You cannot work for an hour to afford 1 gallon of gas and call that a functional economy. The fact that the administration is surrounded by people who have never had to worry about the price of a gallon of gas is the biggest risk factor in your portfolio. They do not understand the struggle because they are not living it. They are living in a bubble. And when that bubble bursts, they will be the ones with the escape plan. You will be the one holding the bag. Do not be that person. Learn to read the signs that matter. Ignore the speeches. Ignore the campaign promises. Look at the flow of capital. Look at the rising yields. Look at the supply chain disruptions. These are the facts. Everything else is just distraction. I am telling you to be boring because boring is the only thing that works when the world is going insane. If you cannot explain your investment strategy to a 12-year-old, you are just gambling. This is a rule I live by. If it sounds complex, it is a lie. If it sounds like a shortcut, it is a scam. Keep your capital allocation simple, hold assets that provide value, reduce your debt, and stop trying to predict what the president is going to tweet next. The political cycle is a constant. It will always be there, but your wealth depends on your ability to ignore the drama. When the market is volatile, that is when the amateurs panic and sell at the bottom. Stay grounded, maintain your liquidity, and wait for the opportunities that actually make sense. Do not let the fear porn make you make irrational decisions. The market does not care about your feelings. It does not care about your politics. It only cares about the math, and the math says that if you are not disciplined, you will be liquidated. Keep your eyes on the prize and leave the drama for the people who enjoy losing their money. It is a simple life and a simple strategy, but it works better than any high-frequency trading algorithm you can find. Stay boring and stay wealthy, because boring is the only thing that lasts in an insane world. Trust the process, not the headlines. Trust the data, not the speeches. And most importantly, trust yourself to have the discipline to ignore the things that do not matter to your long-term financial freedom. The world will keep turning, the speeches will keep coming, and the markets will keep fluctuating. Your job is to remain unmoved by the chaos. That is the ultimate form of financial maturity. It is the only way to win in a rigged game. So take this advice or do not, but do not come crying when your complex strategy fails. Because the truth is that you were warned. This is the end of the road for the amateur gamblers and the beginning of the journey for those who value discipline over excitement. Keep that in your head next time you feel the need to chase a trend because of a breaking news story. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep the main thing, which is your financial independence. Nothing else comes close to that. So sleep well, knowing that you have a plan that does not rely on the sanity of the people in the capital. That is true power, that is true control, and that is all that really matters in the end. You have a wealth to build and no time for the circus. Build it well and ignore the fools who think the circus is the show. It is just a distraction meant to keep you poor. So do not let them win, do not give them your attention, and definitely do not give them your money. Keep your wallet closed and your mind open to the boring, tedious, and essential truth that discipline is the only path to the freedom you claim to want. And if you cannot handle the boredom of that path, then you are not ready for the destination anyway. So stay in the game, stay in the seat, and enjoy the long, slow crawl to wealth. It is the only way to guarantee that you end up on the winning side. Stay smart and keep your head above the water. The chaos is only a problem if you let it be your problem. So make sure it is not. That is the final lesson, and I am done here. Do the work or suffer the consequences. It is really that simple. The arrogance of the political elite is a feature of the system. They will always tell you that everything is fine while the floor is falling out. From under you, your job is to be prepared to have your cash reserves, to own assets that are real, and to keep your overhead low. When you are not dependent on the system, you are free. That is the goal. That is the only goal that matters. So stop watching the news for financial advice and start looking at the balance sheet of your own life. It is the only thing that will keep you fed and secure when the next crisis hits. And make no mistake, there will be a next crisis. There always is. The question is whether you will be prepared or whether you will be another victim of the narrative, be the one who stands apart. Be the one who remains calm, and be the one who understands that your future is in your hands, not in the hands of the people at the podium. They are playing a game with your future, and they are playing it with your money. Stop letting them do it, start taking control, and stop being distracted by the noise. This is the only way forward. This is the only way to survive the coming years with your dignity and your wealth intact. And that is all I have to say. If you are still listening, you have the potential to be one of the few who actually succeeds in this environment. But it requires more than just listening to me. It requires you to change how you think. It requires you to be honest with yourself about your own risks. And it requires you to have the courage to walk your own path, even when everyone else is running in the opposite direction. That is true independence, that is true wealth. Stay smart and keep focused. Nothing else works in the long run, and I will be here, sitting on my balcony, watching the world burn and staying perfectly boring, because that is where the real success is hidden. Right in plain sight for anyone who is disciplined enough to see it. Good luck to you. And I hope you choose the path of sanity, the path of discipline, the path of boring, because it is the only one that actually leads anywhere worth going. Thank you for listening, and keep your focus on the numbers, not the noise, because the numbers are the only thing that do not lie, and the noise is just there to sell you something you do not need. So save your money, keep your focus, and stay free. That is all for today. Good night.